Are you watching closely?
Clytus, I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
In Life Itself, a memoir, Roger Ebert begins. I was born inside the movie of my life.
I was born a poor black child.
The visuals were before me.
I was born in it, molded by it.
The audio surrounded me. The plot unfolded inevitably, but not necessarily. I don't remember how I got into the movie, but it continues to entertain me. First, the frames flicker without connection.
We all are born with a certain package. We are who we are. Where we were born, who we were born as, how we were raised. We're kind of stuck inside that person. And the purpose of civilization and growth is to be able to reach out and empathize a little bit with other people. And for me, the movies are like a machine that generates empathy. It lets you understand a little bit more about different hopes, aspirations, dreams, and fears. It helps us to identify with the people who are sharing this journey with us.
Let's talk about an ideal day. I woke up before my alarms, had the house to myself, but for the cats. If I had an inkling that my kids would be gone for a long term, that would be sad, but we're just out of town for a few days. Had some leftover donuts for breakfast, did some podcast writing. I often write out a podcast word for word, because I want to get the message just right. Sometimes you just want it to come out more like this. I don't know if I misread the clock on the wall, or forgot when my movie was starting, because I had 3 movie reservations in the AMC app, all at City Walk, Universal Studios, and I left at 10 when I should have left at 11. The movie started at 12, so I ended up at City Walk early. Just kind of walked around, walked from one end to the other and back. I'd already had breakfast, so I didn't need to go to like the Starbucks or Voodoo Donuts. Just looking at the crowd. I sat down on a bench for a little while and browsed Twitter and Facebook. I say those with a grimace. Twitter is, because I've been very angry lately. I vent some of it on Twitter. I also fuel it on Twitter. Politics. This place. I watch all these movies and do all these podcasts. In a way, for me, it's easier to exist outside reality for a little while. I've always said in my blog and in podcasts before, I've always said, movies are not about escape, or they shouldn't be necessarily. They're more like a vacation. You don't go to a movie to get away from reality, you go to a movie to remind yourself, I don't know, something about reality that's important. First movie of the day was Anna, action film directed by Luc Besson, I believe. Yeah. I considered doing a rant about it in a big negative fashion because it's set primarily in 1990, but then they have things like USB drives and a laptop with the little like mouse roll button thing in the middle of the keyboard, and I think there was some other stuff in that. It was obvious, but they have technology that doesn't fit because Besson wanted to make a KGB CIA movie. It's a pretty good movie. If you saw the trailer and you want to see it, you're gonna enjoy it. It's a thing I used to say in my YouTube reviews. If you want to see this, you're gonna like it. Sometimes that's a useful piece of information. I'm gonna be disappointed by the thing that I see after I've seen the trailer. And it was good. I didn't even leave the theater after that one, because I had half an hour to my next movie. The second movie was Crawl, directed by, his name is Alexandre Aja? I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't think I've actually heard anyone say it out loud. Ostensibly a horror film, but a man versus nature, or man and daughter versus nature. With alligators in the basement of a house during a hurricane. Really simple premise. Done pretty well. I had a complaint early on because I have a pet peeve about movies. My go-to examples are, was a movie called Behind Enemy Lines, I think it was. Where the guy was, wanted to quit the Navy, and then his plane goes down, and he spends some time doing nothing particularly inspirational. Finds some dead bodies that I don't think the movie quite explains, and then, out of nowhere, because it's the aughts, when we're all big pro-America patriotism and all that. The end of the movie, he decides, I'm sticking in the Navy. Even though the movie has offered absolutely no representation of his change, it's just there at the end. The Shallows, more recently. Girl's mother's died and she's thinking of quitting med school. And then she has this big thing happen with this shark, and of course that's the thing that makes her realize, no, I want to continue med school, even though it's an excuse. I think back to Halloween. If you're just listening to this show, you don't necessarily know other shows I have. But I did a Movies by Minutes podcast about Halloween. It's called Michael Myers Minute. And I think about Halloween because it's not like this was a big, giant day in Laurie's life or Annie's life, Linda's life. It's just any other day for them. And we still get to care about them. The setup at the beginning of Crawl is that main girl, I don't remember her name, her sister calls her. She's worried about their father because he lives down in the town that the hurricane's going to hit, directly. And they've had sort of broken family in recently, divorce, and their mother is with another man. The older daughter has moved off to Boston. They're down in Florida. The younger daughter goes into the hurricane, essentially, to find her father. And in addition to that, she's also a swimmer, and she's thinking of quitting. The opening of the film is a swimming race at practice, which she loses. And it's set up for something we don't need. Father and daughter stuck in a basement of a house during a hurricane with alligators is plenty for a film. We don't need it to also be, absolutely life-changing for her, and getting him to admit all this stuff about his relationship with their mother for him. Characterization is nice, but you don't have to turn it into plot. Now, you can leave it as subtext. You don't have to turn it into text. I had a couple hours to my third film, so I wandered around looking at some menus of the restaurants at City Walk, and eventually settled on what I thought would be the cheaper option of a few of the good ones that I knew also had vegetarian food. I went to Johnny Rockets, got a veggie burger, some fries, really good shake that had Kahlua and Bailey's Irish cream in it. That was good. The whole time in between the movies, I'm listening to podcasts as I wander around, because I'm by myself. I'm not talking to people, so had some earbuds in, listening to podcasts while I'm sitting there eating. I go to my third film, Stuber. I figured it was going to be dumb, mildly amusing. It's actually pretty good. One section in particular, when they get into a fight in the sporting goods store, was both super violent if you think about it, but one of the more funny things I've seen in a movie in a while. Because it was just insane. And I'd already checked before I went into Stuber if there was a chance of seeing a fourth movie, because I knew there was another movie out there I've been dying to see that I hadn't gotten to. It wasn't at City Walk, but I could make it. So after Stuber, I stopped by home, briefly, put out some food for the cats, because they hadn't eaten since this morning, and then went to a local theater here in Glendale to see Wild Rose. And it was a lovely little film. I loved it. Girl from Glasgow wants to be a country singer and just got out of jail and isn't dealing with the fact that she has kids very well. And it was a great little thing. Now it's sometime after midnight. I'm laying in bed, recording on a cheap mic. Hope the sound quality is okay. In the morning, I'll wake up either before or when my alarm goes off. I've been getting up early lately, so I might wake up before my new alarm. And then I'll write some notes for my podcast that I'm recording middle of the day tomorrow. And if I've got time, I'll record a different one. I don't know what I'm doing in the afternoon yet, because I don't know how long the afternoon will be. Recording could be short, recording could be long. And then in the evening, I'm heading off to my friend Christy's house to play Dungeons and Dragons. She wants to try DMing for the first time, so we're going to her house and playing a game. Sunday morning is my usual D&D game. Well, Sunday morning starts into Sunday evening. And I'll watch some TV. Watch a movie, probably. My summer class is over, so Monday I'll be doing a lot of editing and writing and recording. And I'm insane. I have 4 current podcasts, and that's crazy. Got guest spots on shows coming up. I'm known for being the thorough one with a lot of notes, even on short notice. I feel like I found something that I could love long term. Just talking about movies. I remember I took a media studies class in grad school. And when my teacher found out that I was writing a blog at the time where I watched a movie every day and wrote at least 1,000 words about it, about movies, he was like, "You write 1,000 words about movies every day? Why aren't you a film critic?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how you become a film critic. Recently I've looked up stuff like that. Like how do you become a film critic? But there's so many websites that need people to write about things, and now you can apply for them all online, so it's both easier to access and harder to get. So I have podcasts. I record it, I edit it, I mix it, I put it online. I rarely check if people even listen to it. I know people who listen to a couple of my shows and I'll comment on them, but overall, I don't know. Maybe no one has listened to this show. Maybe people have listened and then they don't want to listen anymore because I'm so negative. I just go off on rants about Quentin Tarantino and Midsummer and whatever. I'm not always a negative person, but I love movies. And I take it personally when there's something wrong with movies. It's like that XKCD comic, there's something wrong on the internet. There's something wrong in Hollywood I want to talk about. Big or small. And if I could get paid to watch movies and talk about them or write about them, that's the dream. Well, no, I guess the dream would be to make movies, but no, I don't know. I've written screenplays, I've written books, I've written short stories, I've written poetry. I've definitely written my share of creative stuff. I've dreamed of being a filmmaker, dreamed of being an actor, a director, a writer. But I'm getting older. If I could just sit around and talk about movies, and someone would pay me, oh my god.
Cut. Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Out of a Mandalorian. Why would you create such an abomination? This is the weapon of the coward.
It's a past stuff that dreams are made of.
Cut. That's a wrap.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing!
You're still here?
You just don't turn it off!
It's over. Go home. Go.